this is Mari from the Bonsai Supply, and today in Bonsai and Coffee with Mari and Jerome, I have a very special guest, and this guest is Jerome. Here everybody, Jerome Kellerholz, bonsai artist.
Hello everyone, I'm making some coffee. Thank you so much for having me today.
So how was your flight here?
It was long, it was very long. I'm a little jet lagged and I'm still not used to the time differences yet. But hopefully this will get me there.
Okay, well, we're happy you made it to our recording studio today. And I wanted to tell our audience that I chose Jerome for this month guest artist because this month is very important. Starting with, this is Jerome's birthday month. So it's June 13 and we're gonna celebrate this little guy by knowing more about his story, how he came along his bonsai journey. So let's get started.
All right.
So the first question, how do you like to drink your coffee?
Okay, so I like to drink my coffee black, very strong, and I like a touch of honey inside. And that's really good. And I think that you may have introduced me to that, right?
Yeah, I did.
So how did you come up with this recipe?
Well, in the time where we were preparing for our wedding, I was trying to lose weight. So the person who was helping me with this made me switch from sugar to honey in my coffee, and then you just pick that up because you're a copycat.
Oh, okay. So how come that you switched coffees now in the meantime?
Because the wedding is over, and I was like, I need, well, not my sugar back, but I got my milk back, so that's how I drink it with milk.
Yeah, I really like it, and if you have never tried it before, give it a shot. It's really good. Even works with iced coffee too.
All right, so the $1,000,000 question. How did you get started in bonsai?
Okay. Okay, so I was born and raised in Switzerland, and I've been kind of doing bonsai for pretty much all of my life. Like I kind of grew up with it because my mom, when she was young, she was on a world tour. Well, she's still young, of course. Whew, I almost got into that trap. When she was around 21 years old, she was on a world tour, and she stopped in Japan, and she lived there for about 2 years. She worked at night in a bar, and during the day she helped out at a bonsai garden that was right next to her apartment, and that's how she kind of got into it. And then she taught me growing up, but I didn't really catch the bug until I moved to the United States and lived in Florida. That's where I really caught the bug, and that's where it really started to take off for me. But she's kind of the reason behind my love for bonsai. And you know, she still helps me to this day every time she comes to visit.
Yeah, she loves it.
Yeah, put it to work. I have her
Yeah.
defoliate, I have her remove wire, everything.
No wonder why she doesn't come that often.
There's a thing called COVID, okay?
But yeah, he puts his mom to work all the time.
I just say, hey, do you want to help? And she says, yes. And I say, hey, there's a big tree that needs some love.
So, Eric, if you're watching, you're raising him well.
Yeah, sorry about that, Mom.
My next question is going to be, which are your top five? And I know it's hard for you to pick a top five, but I want 5 species only that will be like your favorite ones. If you have to choose 5, you have to.
Pass, it's too hard.
No.
Is that not an option here?
No.
Top 5, oh my God.
And why? I want to know why, obviously.
Okay, so let's start with my newfound favorite species, Japanese maples. They're so beautiful, ever-changing, they're so delicate. So there's such a large variety of leaf colors, shapes, sizes, different bark colors, different characteristics. That's my number one right now. I'm listing the 5, not necessarily in order, but those are my top 5. So definitely Japanese maples. I have a really big newfound love for birch trees. And the reason why is because the leaves are kind of like diamond shaped. They have these white trunks. That's really cool to me. I think you can play really nicely with pop colors, the white trunks, the green leaves that turn yellow in the fall. And I'm so intrigued by birches because they kind of have a bad rap because people say that they're kind of hard to care for or hard to turn into a good bonsai. And so that's kind of what's really intriguing me right now, to get into it and study why that is, because I cannot see that right now, that might be a problem. So number 3, desert roses. This might be my first love, desert roses. Once again, such a big variety, leaf shapes, colors, and everybody loves them. Everybody loves them. I have not met
flowers.
Exactly. When one is in full bloom, there's not much that you can put next to a desert rose in full bloom that can overpower that at that moment. So, and I mean the trunks, they just look like they're from a different planet, you know. And again, so versatile they are. So that's my number 3.
That's number 4. You're number 4 now.
Really?
Maple,
birch,
and
desert rose is number 3.
So you're going number 4.
Oh yeah, I'm going number 4 now. See, that's why she's the brains. Brazilian rain trees. Again, the leaves are different. The compound leaves, they close them at night, they reopen them in the morning. The fluting trunk, the flowers. The thorns, not a big fan, but I can get around that. Extremely fast growers. My number 4. My number 5. I would have to say sea hibiscus probably. Again, I love the leaf shape because it's shaped like a heart. They're fast growing, very forgiving. You can develop them very quickly. I think that's it.
All right, that's a good selection. And
Yeah.
I mean, you have them all but the birch.
I do have a birch, you just don't know about it.
Where?
It's in a big pot. It's a Himalayan birch, which is apparently one of the hardest ones to find as a bonsai tree.
I already lost the count of how many trees we have or what we have, so I guess it's hidden somewhere.
Now see, true bonsai trees, we only have a handful. But then we have trees that need to be grown and developed. Those cannot be counted as bonsai.
It's a material.
No.
Alright. Alright, so now I want to know, what is your absolutely favorite style in bonsai? Like, what do you enjoy doing it the most? How it looks like? And I know that's also a hard one, but you need to pick one.
Now, are you asking me what's my favorite style for this week, or?
I guess for this interview, what is your favorite style in bonsai?
So I think one of my top favorite styles ever, and it's probably one that will shock you, and most people might not know about this, but it's cascade, specifically cascading literati. That's probably my all-time favorite styles ever. And that's just because, number one, you don't see them that often, and number two, they're hard to create. That's kind of why I love them. They're so challenging. And number three, they can make such a powerful statement, you know, like if you have a crescent pot and then you have the tree coming out with so much movement in the trunk.
So just like one of the
canopy.
last videos you made.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, if you said gun to my head, my absolute favorite, again, very dramatic, I think that's the one. Even though that this style does not naturally occur, really. But it's so powerful. Oh, I should have said root over statue.
I was gonna say, okay, I'm gonna give you that plus one.
My
because
bonus one?
I was waiting for that one. I thought, yeah, root over statue.
So, the literati cascade, really, really powerful. I love it. But then, of course, my bonus one would be root over statue. And once again, I love that style because there's so much to think about when you create that style. The statue, the size, will dictate how big your overall composition will end up. You can play so much with the drama of the statue and the branch placements and all of that. So I like that a lot, you know.
Yeah, you can be so creative with the style, and that's you.
Like I had a little Bruce Lee statue that I paired up with a Hong Kong kumquat. And that was really, really cool with the little oranges. So that's something that I really like. It's so powerful, the composition.
Yeah, it's so funny because I sometimes I look at my Etsy account and I see a bunch of like statues, different kinds, and like in the wish list. I'm like, I don't remember been looking for a statue.
Well, you do know my birthday is coming up, right?
Someone is always looking for statues. To
Etsy is a great place to look for statues, by the way.
Yeah, and eBay too.
eBay too, but as you know, my birthday is coming up, so
I gave you a few ideas. He's asking for statues, guys. I'm sure if you send him a statue, he will make a cool video with it. That is for sure. So
yeah, but
there you go. You shot your shot, as they said. So,
that's right. Thank you in advance.
After having some years in this art, what do you find to be the most challenging aspect of bonsai?
You couldn't let me know these questions beforehand?
No, I wanted to know.
I would say the absolute most difficult thing to master in bonsai is listening to your own advice. And let me explain.
Okay.
Because all of you guys, you know what to do. I know what to do. But sitting on your hands and waiting is the most difficult things to do. Because every time you have a tree in front of you and you're like, no, it needs to grow more. No, it needs to grow more. Or this needs to be done. And you're like, screw it, I'm going to do it anyways. And that's the most difficult thing for me, I think.
So you mean like to wait, to be patient?
To wait and to kind of listen to my own advice, in terms of like, oh, can I do this right now? I really shouldn't. I should wait an extra month. But I'm going to do it anyways now, a little earlier.
Mm-hmm. So that's when the advice of just having lots of trees so you can get distracted, live with the rest so you don't have to,
I think that any and every artist should be able to relate to that, to listening to your own advice. I think everybody struggles with that. Or I hope at least I'm not the only one. But yeah, that's the number one.
And he had multiple trees, so I don't know which time is like that he's spending and thinking on all of this one, You definitely have a lot of trees to play around in the meantime.
That's true, but it's still, you always know.
It's like in your head. It's in your mind.
Know in your head what to do, what not to do, when to do it, when not to do it. And for some reason, to keep yourself in check and remind yourself to hold yourself back. No, wait until the branches have hardened, or, no, you should defoliate this now and not wait another week. But you kind of like, I don't know, you kind of get the urge, you go out there, you get the urge, and then you just do it.
So that is your current challenge.
Yes.
So, but when you were starting in bonsai, what do you find challenging?
I guess again, knowing who to listen to was very, very difficult. And that kind of goes the same with what species to grow in my area. So these two kind of go hand in hand for me. Knowing who to listen to, because everybody gives you advice on your bonsai tree, and it's funny, the first person tells you this branch needs to go, and you're like, you look at the tree and you're like, oh my god, is he right? And then the next person walks in and that person will be like, no, if you take that branch, you're going to ruin your entire design. And you're like, maybe he's right. So that's difficult, who to listen to, whose advice to take. That was difficult. And I think just staying within your lane and not growing a Japanese maple in Florida, that was really hard.
Even though you did it anyway.
I did do it. And I also had, when I lived in South Florida, this was before her, I had Japanese maples, Japanese apricots, Japanese wisterias, and I had a refrigerator in the spare bedroom where I would overwinter my trees. Yeah.
Bad idea.
And then I met her, and then...
I don't remember that.
No, it was before I met her.
Yeah, you threw that away before you introduced me to your home. Because that would have been very weird.
Well, I had a home party, and I told a friend of mine, he said, we're out of beer, and I said, there's an extra refrigerator in the guest bedroom. He went, got the beer, and came back, and he said, dude, what's wrong with you? I said, what do you mean? He's like, there's trees in your refrigerator. And that kind of did it for me.
So I guess everything is possible. It would just look weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you have to create that environment for the tree, and
It's
just a
easier to
refrigerator.
grow tropical trees in a temperate climate than to grow temperate trees in a tropical climate. That's for sure. That's for damn sure. Yeah.
And the last question is going to be, give
Hit me.
us 3 advices for someone that is just starting in bonsai, encouraging words, tips, just 3 things that you know now you wish you knew before.
Okay. I would say use the right components when you do bonsai, and I'm talking about soil, fertilizer, insecticide, and water, like the 4 pillars that build any tree. That's the 4 like main foundation. That's the main foundation in bonsai. Get these good. Like make sure you get good quality stuff, and then everything else is kind of easier down the road. Number 2, learn when to repot, and that kind of goes with what I said earlier. Listen to yourself, because you kind of know when to do what. Listen to yourself and know when to repot your trees. If it's summertime, only repot tropical trees. If it's spring, repot everything else. If it's any other time of the year, stay away from repotting. So that's definitely a big one. Look for the signs when to repot. Number 3 and the last one, I guess the advice is, I guess everybody has to go through that, acquire a lot of trees, a lot of quantity to get started in bonsai and get familiar with how to take care of these trees, and then kind of clean house and go for quality. Yeah, you shouldn't do it really the other way around. If you go for quality first instead of quantity, most likely you're going to fail, because you just don't know. You don't have the know-how yet. So therefore I will go for quantity first, switch out for quality. Yeah.
All right. Well, those were great advices, and with this we end this conversation. We hope you enjoy learning a little more about Jerome's journey in bonsai, and we're excited to have more guests in this section of our YouTube channel. And we're actually, since we're in June now, half of the year, we did a bunch of men, so now it's gonna be the turn of the ladies. So it's my promise that the rest of the year is just gonna be great women in bonsai. So just a sneak peek about that.
Well,
so you were the last man of this year.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, before we let you go, June is also her birthday, and it's also our wedding anniversary.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna let you know, hopefully with the next video, if I got a statue or not that I put into my wish list.
Yeah.
If not, I might have to leave better clues next year for my birthday.
So anyhow, we are actually, thanks to that, June is a month of celebration, so we're gonna go ahead and celebrate right after this video. And if you have any other questions for Jerome, or in general about your trees, things that you wanna share, things, maybe women that you wanna see in the next 6 months, just drop it in the comments below. We'll love to read it and respond to you, and we'll be celebrating this whole month with you. So thank you so much for watching.
Thank you guys, and we'll catch you guys next time.
I think you're nervous.
No, I think I have menopause.
Yeah, you probably have menopause. And
Can I get in the frame first, woman?
and we need like a party favors thing to put it at the end.
Do we have that?
No.